What's up, Party Point O Nation and Sober Nation? I'm here with Michael Gershe, and he is a New York born, raised in Florida. He's a nationally known speaker, and he speaks on life, on alcohol abuse, on drunk driving, and the college experience. I'm really excited to have him on the show today, and we're just going to gain a bunch of knowledge from him. And the reason why I asked him to be on the show is because not only is he speaking to college students across the nation, but he's one of those guys who actually does something. When he sees a problem, he goes out and he does something about it. So when I talked to him on the phone and got to know him, I thought we've got to introduce him to you. We've got to get everything we can out of this guy because he's going to share some really cool stuff about being sober in college and making the most of that decision, and not from a adult or administrative standpoint, but from a real life experience standpoint. And the fact that he's on college is making a difference across the nation and at his home university in Ohio. He brings just this depth of knowledge and this I guess perspective from all these different angles. So Michael, if you don't mind just giving our audience an overview of who you are.
I have to follow that intro. Okay. All right. You build me up so much. My name is Michael Gershe. I was born in New York, and 8 weeks after I was born, we were hit by a drunk driver. All my bones were broken. My skull was completely fractured. My mom, unfortunately, did not survive. I grew up to be somewhat normal. I was a competitive swimmer. I've been in higher education my entire adult life, it seems like. I never left college. And I've been working at Kent State University as a senior advisor for the College of Applied Engineering, and wrapping up on my 16th year. But I also toured the country, as you said, doing the Magic of Life, which is a fun, non-doom and gloom alcohol awareness drunk driving program. So I'm too immature to do a serious one. So it involves comedy and audience participation. My personal story it's more of an inspirational message in terms of choices and consequences and how to live your life, without, alcohol or doing drugs. That's really what we want for students. And, for them to realize if you choose to do this, here's the consequences. But, life is so precious. And I've seen it from both sides. As a student who I caved that peer pressure in college. I didn't drink in high school. And when I got to college, my own swim coach would have parties at his house. And, I kind of changed who I was. And, you kind of lose the identity going, is this what I have to do for friends? And I learned that personally, someone's going to like me whether I drink with them or I don't. And if they don't like me because I won't drink with them, as I tell students in my program, so what? Because right around the corner is going to be someone who's going to like you for who you are, sober. And I think, finding people with similar interests is so important. And then, that it's okay. You don't drink, fine. You have more money in your pocket at the end of the weekend. You remember the weekend. You're not, throwing up. There's all those, your grades won't suffer. Like for me, my first semester was a 3.3. Second semester, I dropped down to a 2.2 because I changed who I was and I started to drink. So, for those people that 20% that aren't, I mean, it might be a smaller community, but it's a powerful community in terms of, they're living life the way that they want. They're standing up for what they believe in, and that's, not to drink, not to do drugs. And that takes a lot of courage and inner strength, and I love that. At least for at Kent State University, we have close to 300 student organizations, even one on motorcycles.
Yeah.
I think as long as you have your helmet, you're good to go. But, there's so many different things on a college campus that a student can do, that isn't partying. And there's I think there is a huge culture on campus. It's small but mighty, but it is there for students that don't want to partake in that. And, whether it's the biggest thing is student organizations, get involved.
If the club wasn't there, you could start it.
Mm-hmm.
All you needed was a couple of students who were like you.
Right.
And maybe it's like now with social media to put it out there on Yik Yak or Snapchat or anything to say, hey, anybody else want to do this with me? Mm-hmm. And then the school is going to pay for you to do something like that. So I am kicking myself for not starting like a kiteboarding club to have them buy the equipment that I could never afford and go do that.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, that could happen. So I
Hmm.
I liked when I learned that, you know, being sober is, it's a good thing, but it's kind of defined by what you don't do.
Right.
And not doing things is not fun. But
Hmm.
so redefining that sober lifestyle into something that, what are you going to do, and
Right.
who you're going to connect with around those things. And for me, it was being part of the union board. And I know that you were doing that, planning events, and they
Hmm.
literally throw hundreds of thousands of dollars at you and say, go hire comedians and speakers and bands. And they flew us around the country, and it was really cool. So
Hmm.
I second that. Like, if
Yeah.
somebody gets involved, it's a resume builder. It's friends. It's fun. It's once in a lifetime experiences on the university's dime.
Continue to be strong because you're the smart one. It's the students that are abusing themselves and just putting themselves in harm's way. What you're doing is, I know sometimes you might feel you're not part of the in group or you feel like an outsider. You're not. You're an insider and you're living life the way you want to. You're not caving to peer pressure. You're standing tall. And the people that are drinking or abusing themselves, they wish they could be as strong as you.
Hmm.
And as I tell students in my program, if you show people your true self, nobody can ever take that away from you. I don't
Yeah.
care if you want pink hair or your face look like a pin cushion, whatever. Stand tall and be proud of who you are. And if that doesn't include drinking, it's the other people to worry about, not yourself. And I
Yeah.
think, just remember that. And just, if you do that, then everything else will be fine.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Michael. We really, really
You're
appreciate you
welcome.
being here.
Thank you. This is fun.